That game seems like one of those ones that you guys just have to keep pounding and finding a way to win late. What is the feeling on fourth down when you see DJ get that pass break up to kind of know that you guys can ice it?
Yeah, it's amazing. You know, we trust them. We trust everyone on the field. So, like, we know we're good. We're just going to put pressure, and then the outcome's the outcome. And it's just amazing to see how everyone's finishing the play no matter what happens.
I know the narrative talking to some of the other defensive guys this year was that you guys don't do much at halftime in terms of adjustments, but you hold them to 3 in the second half. What was going well for you guys between the third and fourth quarters?
Yeah, just after halftime, we'll talk with the coaches, but just coming together as a group, We talk to each other in the locker room after we talk to our coaches, and we just bring each other along, and we know we got it. We know we just got to step it up a little more, and then we just come out and do what we need to do.
And then on the field, what was it that Washington State was doing in that first and second quarter that maybe made it a little harder to stop their offense, and what was different about maybe what they were doing or what you guys were doing as a defense in the third and fourth quarter?
Yeah, they were really targeting the flats, like really quick game to the flats. So we just had to make adjustments with some play calls just to have someone down there, just for the checkdowns and whatnot. And then the run game, we did pretty good, but there's some of the schemes were just moving faster than what we expected. So we just had to come up with plays that we can just stop and stop the run at the line of scrimmage.
Do you have a feeling that you'd be able to have a performance like you did today, knowing that you'd be getting some more snaps?
Yeah. I believe myself. I prepare the way I need to prepare, and anything I can do, I'm just going to go out there and make the most of my opportunity, and I'm so proud of myself and so proud of my teammates for believing in me, so it's amazing.
Yeah, you had 2 pass breakups on one drive. Talk about kind of getting in there and kind of disrupting the passing game a little bit.
Yeah, I was supposed to be hot at 2 on some of those plays, but just looking at the quarterback's eyes, I seen him looking at those checkdowns hot at 3, so I'm supposed to get out hot at 2, but I'm seeing his eyes. I'm just going to go make a tackle, make a play, and just change the game.
Can you talk a little bit about how kind of offense maybe how the defense maybe took some motivation from the offense when they had the 2 second half touchdowns?
Yeah, both sides of the ball. We make a stop, makes the offense better. They make a stop. I mean, they score. It makes us go out there with more energy, more pride, and we just continue to keep going.
Can you speak to the growth you've seen yourself as a player this year, and how you kind of feel like it maybe paid off today in the performance you had today?
Yeah, just learning the game a lot more. I came from Holy Cross, like a lot of you guys know, but just learning the game a lot more and just working with these coaches, having them explain to me, all right, this is what you're going to see, this is what's going to happen. It might not be exactly what might happen, but what I'm seeing on the field is most likely what's going to happen. So just playing faster, knowing where I'm supposed to be, knowing what I'm supposed to do, it's just making me such a better player, and I'm proud of myself,
Just in hindsight now, what's it kind of like to get this opportunity to follow Chesney from Holy Cross?
It's amazing. This staff is unbelievable. I went to Holy Cross for a reason. I had a bunch of other offers, a bunch of other coaches that loved me, that saw a lot of me, but just this staff and what they bring, the culture, how much they love their players, how much they care. It's like no one knows until you're here. No one knows unless you're under the roof with them. It's just amazing. And then entering the portal and just having the opportunity to play with them again, it was no doubt that I was going to play with them again.
About JMU specifically, what is it about kind of this campus or this fan base that makes it unique?
Yeah, when I came here on my visit, beautiful campus, beautiful stadium, all this and that, and I followed along when I was at Holy Cross, just following along Chesney and all that with the team last year, and just seeing the games, seeing the atmosphere, seeing how much people care about the program, because not a lot of people, a lot of programs they care about it, but this is just different. The fan base is just unbelievable, and it's crazy.
This crowd today kind of seemed to be a difference maker at times. I know right before they had that last field goal, you guys forced them into a delay of game. How much of an impact did you guys notice, just the noise in the stadium being the later it got into the game?
Yeah, it was pretty loud. People are on Thanksgiving break. I did not expect it to be this packed out, but it was pretty loud, and it gives us so much more momentum seeing everyone shirtless at fourth quarter. It's crazy, but yeah.
16 total tackles in the game. What is the recovery like after that? I know you said your knees are hurting, man. What's your recovery process?
Shoulders, got both stingers, both sides. My ankle's still not healed, but it's all good. Just coming Sunday, getting treatment early, and just, I trust the trainers to do what they need to do and just rest. Just rest, ready, get ready. We have Monday off and just get ready to come back Tuesday.
I know probably Coach Chesney saying the outside noise with playoff contention should be on the outside, but clear path right now. If you beat Coastal, go to the Sun Belt Championship and so forth. Is that on y'all's mind, or is the Sun Belt the first thing?
I take it week by week. I think we take it week by week. We're just looking at Coastal, not even the Sun Belt Championship. We're just taking it week by week and just doing what we need to do to beat that team in front of us.
just to start off with that touchdown, that ends up being the difference maker for you guys. When did you notice the play developing in that way? I know Riley had a pretty good block to open it up for you. How did you read that play going forward?
Yeah, early on, the guys up front, they've been doing a good job, the whole entire game, opening up seams for us in the backfield. And, we knew one was going to pop, and it was going to be, in a big moment. And, we needed that touchdown. We needed a big play in that moment. So, just being able to capitalize early on. So,
how much confidence do you have in this offense to know that if it's your big run that's going to come, or Wiz this touchdown, that it is going to come and that you guys are going to have that opportunity?
Super confident. We got playmakers all over the field when we're on offense, whether it's the ones, whether it's the twos, whoever's in there, we know that anybody can make a play at any given time. So, every time we suit up and we go out there as a unit, we expect to have explosive plays and put points on the board.
I don't know exactly how much stock you take in some of the personal achievements, but I mean, getting kind of close to 1,000 rushing yards, which may be a sign of, just being the elite back. Just talk about, getting close, just talk about that, where you are with that.
Yeah, it's definitely special. That's every running back dream, just to get 1,000 yards in the season. And as you mentioned, I'm approaching that. We're going to need, all running backs in this upcoming game against Coastal Carolina, and just being able to continue to do what we do and have success on the ground just will help us, in the future.
It was a little bit of a rough first half for you guys offensively. What was the message at halftime amongst coaches and players?
Just never quit. We're not going to let a team come in our home field and out-tough us. And, that was kind of the motive all week. Just be tough, physically tough and mentally tough, throughout the whole entirety of the game. And, none of them guys out there gave up at any point of the game. And we just kept doing what we did, and, we came out with the W.
When in the second half the running game was more dynamic, do you give credit to not just yourself but the O-line, or was it a different scheme being run?
Yeah, 100%. I give all the credit to the O-line. Them boys, whatever scheme it is that we call, they execute their job at a very high level, which allows us to have success in the backfield. So, it doesn't matter if we want inside zone, outside zone, counter power, whatever it is. We know them boys up front is going to execute for us. So we have avenues and, opportunities to have explosives and big plays in the run game.
This game looked really physical. Did it feel a little bit more physical than some of the rest of the games you played this year?
Yeah, 100%. And we knew that, going into it, that's a well-coached team. They do things right. We do things right as well. So, you pair those two up and you're going to get a physical, hard, smash-mouth football game. And, we stepped up to the plate and, we handled business.
Undefeated home regular season. I know your journey isn't done here yet, but do you have a favorite memory at Bridgeport Stadium?
Just winning. I love winning. No matter how we get it done, just being able to come on top, every single game, especially at home. This crowd, they show up every single game and they show out. So just being able to, get the W for them guys.
I know Coach Chesney always talks about when the light shines on people, they're going to be revealed or exposed. Have you had a chance at all just to kind of soak in just this year you're having? Because it just seems like week in and week out, you're always doing something for the team to come through.
I try not to harp on, a lot of the accomplishments and things like that, whether it's highs and whether it's lows. Just being able to stay level-headed throughout it all. We have things that we have to get done. And just being able to stay level-headed is allow us to have explosive plays and have success in our offense. And, I think a lot of the guys do a great job at doing that, just staying level-headed throughout the entirety of the game. And you kind of see it tonight, how everyone just stayed poised, especially in big moments. And, that allowed us to have success and come out with the W.
You went with Hulk today on your helmet, right?
Yeah.
Play a little bit like him?
Yeah, I tried. That was the mentality going to this game. We talked about it. This was a tough physical team, and we was going to need that.
What was the difference in that second half that had a little trouble stopping their offense in the first half? I know it might be hard to pin it down to one thing, but what were you guys doing differently, or what were they doing differently?
Yeah, I think just being the tougher team, honestly. We knew coming into this game that, their brand of football was tough, gritty, control the clock type of team, and I don't think we played up to our potential in the first half. So, Coach Hitch had some words in the locker room, and all of our coaches expressed that to us. And it starts with the defense. We knew offense was going to go out and do their thing and score enough points. So, just toughening up and making sure that they can't run the ball on us.
And not necessarily another home game promised. I'm just curious how thankful you are to possibly end your career in Bridgeforth with a win like this.
Yeah, what a great team win, honestly. From special teams to defense to offense to the guys that are on this team, it just makes it really special. And hopefully we do have another game in this stadium. But the Bridgeforth crowd and the students that come here, and the fan base is just one of the best in the country. And I can't be grateful enough to be here for, my whole 4 years and be able to be a part of something so special. The community is amazing. The coaches that are here are amazing, and everyone it doesn't feel like a small college town, It's just awesome.
I know late you were turning around yelling with the band a little bit after you guys had forced them into that delay of game. How much did you notice the fans kind of play into it, especially late into the third quarter, into the fourth?
Yeah, when I'm not able to hear, Tyler Brown right next to me, I kind of know that they're getting loud. So, they affect other teams when they come in here, and teams know that. So what they do to help us, it's just chaos, and the atmosphere is insane. So for them to do that for us, and for us to play like that and try to get some stops against another team, it's amazing.
And then on Washington State's last fourth down attempt, as the kind of leader in that secondary, what's it like watching DJ kind of get targeted? I mean, they went at him. He's 5'9". The receiver is listed at 6'2". How much confidence and do you have in just watching him kind of handle that coverage in that big of a moment?
We have the utmost confidence in him. We say that he's one of the best, nickel corners in the country, and that's how we feel. And it doesn't matter whether the guy is how tall he is, or it doesn't matter. In that coverage, we were in zero. So trying to get home to the quarterback and for him to make a play like that is just, it shows a testament to him that he goes out there, he does his job, and it doesn't matter who lines up against him. And, we take pride as a secondary to try to stop the pass, and I think we've done a pretty good job of that so far.
What'd you see from Drew Spinogatti today? 16 tackles. He had a couple pass breakups. Talk about what you saw from him.
That guy flies around. What a good kid. He's come in, done his job. Playing behind Gannon and coming in like this is so special. 16 tackles is just insane to me. But, we knew he was going to step up in a big way today, and that's what he did, and I couldn't be more proud of him.
You've been teammates with Wayne for a few seasons now. Just what has he meant to this team? Where have you seen him make the biggest jump in his growth this year?
I just feel like it's his maturity level. We knew what he could do on the field and how many different, parts of the game he can affect. Going out there, returning punt returns and pass pro. Chesney just talked about pass pro, running, passing. He can do everything that you need a running back to do. He's not just a third down back. He's not just a first down back. It's every single down you can leave him in and let him go work. And watching him run, that I don't know how long that run was, but he was moving on that. Yeah, just a special player and a special person. He's awesome to talk to off the field, and how he conducts himself is just amazing.
You guys have top 5 rushing defense in the country, top 10 in total defense. What does that say about you and your respective teammates?
It shows we still have more to go, and we want to be first in every category. So it's hard. To play defense against a tough team like that, and for them to come out, 13, 12 personnel, in some of their different sets, 21 and 20 personnel. So for us to gut out a win like that and really hunker down in the second half, it shows a testament to our character and what these guys did during the spring, the summer, and fall camp. And it shows how together we are, and what that Coach Hitch is doing with us is it's awesome. And frankly, it can't be stopped, honestly.
This program is growing. You've grown this program. What have you seen in yourself in your time at JMU in this program?
Honestly, just growing as a human, trying to be better every single day, and the stuff on the field. Yes, you're trying to get better every day, but how you are outside the facility. Coach always tells us that there's a magnifying glass on you and what you do and how you affect this community. They give back to us so much that we want to give back to them by playing good football out there on Saturday. So I think just my maturity, trying to be a leader on and off the field, and just doing what's right in life, honestly.
Pat, we were kind of joking up in the press box that there are a lot of plays where, regardless of what the protection ends up being on the left side of the line, it seems like Wayne or Joby or Zoe, whoever's running, can kind of redirect to the right side of the line, and you've got it held down. Just can you talk a little bit about, your focus, just holding it down on the right side, and how sort of dialed in you are to that job?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is always just consistency. That's probably the biggest thing that I pride myself on, is just do your job, and if you could do it consistently, you'll be in a good spot. So Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something I pride myself on, and it's just honestly cool to see those guys and just the plays they make. Honestly, it's pretty special.
Speaking of those guys and the plays they make, just can you talk a little bit about how that 58-yard touchdown from Wayne kind of shifted everything really in this game?
Well, it was huge because, I mean, I think, like, obviously it wasn't, it was just hard to get a rhythm. It wasn't the prettiest game for our offense just because some of the stuff they did, they kind of, a lot of what they were doing was interior twisting in the middle. And so I think sometimes those can be kind of hit or miss because sometimes you might knock a guy off a block and, you make a TFL or a no-gain play. But, eventually we kind of knew, like, if they keep moving like that, they're going to be out of their gaps on one play or, we're going to kind of just block it right. And I think that was one of those plays where I'll have to kind of see it, but the backer came down, Riley got off, the D tackle who I was on kind of fell down onto the ground. And, I mean, once it was, kind of happened, it just opened up.
And then outside of the game, just what does it mean to you to celebrate Senior Day with Coach Chesney and the staff that you've been with for a minute now?
It's been good. I know I technically, this is like my third one. I know everyone keeps joking with me about it. But this, like, the first two were kind of weird because I didn't really, like, there was always the hypothetical. I had eligibility left, but I knew, like, this is actually my last one, so I'm going to enjoy it. And, it was just unreal today. A lot of fun.
Joking with Coach Chesney earlier, like, when your offensive line gives Wayne a hole that big, he's usually going to find it and then end up in the end zone. How much confidence do you have blocking for a running back like him who has been as consistent as he has been this year?
I mean, there's all the confidence in the world because it's like, we'll kind of have plays like that. But then, there's plays like last week where it's like he'll kind of have just 8 guys around him, and then he just somehow breaks through, and you're like, oh, there's Wayne running right next to me. And that's just what he does. He's just unreal. Like, his ability to just kind of break tackles and stay on his feet, it's like it just motivates you as a blocker because it's like, every little block matters. That's what Coach Smith always preaches to us. And, especially with someone like Wayne, it's like he's going to make plays as long as, we're on the right guys and stuff. So it's awesome.
This win today is definitely kind of falls in that category of a gritty one. You guys had to make those halftime adjustments to come out, have a better performance offensively. How important is it to have a game like this that kind of takes all 4 quarters at this point in the season?
I think it was really important. I mean, it's, I think, when you win the games, the blowout games, like last week, it's great, but at the end of the day, like, you're going to be tested at some point. Not every game's going to be a 50-10 or whatever, like last week was. Like, you're going to have some tough games, and we knew kind of the way they play and just with their offense being slower and kind of running the clock, like, we're not going to get as many opportunities. So it's like it might not be a high-scoring game, but we just got to make our chances count. And obviously in the second half, I think we did that.
How did you notice if Alonzo maybe kept y'all's composure, throughout the game as the offense was sort of stifled early on?
I mean, he's great with that. Like, we never really worry, and he never worries because it's like, I think when you just kind of look at just some of the stuff was going on, we knew, like, let's just stick with it. There's nothing – they weren't doing anything that, like, we hadn't seen or anything that was out of the ordinary. And, I mean, he's been in the moment so many times. And so, he's always composed, and, I think he just does a great job as just – being a leader, keeping everyone on the same page, even when it's not always going as well as we want it to.
Can you speak about Wayne a little bit? I just feel like when there needs to be a play made, he's really stepped up this year. And playing with him last year and this year, just talk about kind of what you've seen from him this year and how important he's been.
I mean, he does everything. That's what's crazy. He's an unbelievable running back, but just the plays he makes in punt return, and and I know, like, earlier this year he was on kick return, and it's just so awesome to see too, because I mean, he's just an unbelievable guy. He's always just like a quiet guy too, which is crazy because how good he is. It's like he doesn't say a lot, but I love blocking for him. I know the O-line does because he just runs hard. There's never a question of just the effort that he plays with. He runs so hard every play, and it really is fun to block for him.
We talked about it a few times before, but in hindsight now, what's this opportunity been like to play at JMU after transferring?
I've loved it. I mean, it's just crazy how it all kind of played out. When I finished, I never really knew I was going to come here when I was done at Holy Cross, and I was just thankful just to get the opportunity to play here last year. I didn't really know what was going to happen. I didn't know what to expect, if I was even going to play or not. You know, I'm really lucky because it's just an unbelievable group of guys here. You know, I think even, you know, just more off the field. Like, I'm obviously love playing with them on the field, but just the friendships I've made off the field, like, in 2 years, I'm pretty lucky, just the group I get to kind of be around every day. So I've loved every second of it. You know, it's a special place, and, you know, obviously we got some more important games coming up, but it's definitely been a special year for sure.
Can you talk a little bit about kind of joint effort between you and the quarterback position to kind of cut down on sacks from last year? That's one thing, like the ratio of sacks has definitely gone down per game basis.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of it's just, I think for us is our communication, especially, you know, we're meeting a lot during the week, and we make sure we're on the same page with the quarterbacks, and they obviously, you know, do a good job of communicating with us. But it's also the running backs too. I don't think people realize how big of an impact running backs have in protection and being able to pick up blitzes and stuff like that. So the running backs also, like, they play a huge part in that, and I just think, you know, we all just kind of do a good job of being on the same page.